Let me begin by saying that my videos are mostly for your listening pleasure, LOL, because there's nothing to see here. But I've been reading on Reddit, and this is one story that just really got to me. It says, "Hi, I don't have much of a context here because it happened really quickly and I only overheard some of the things the mother said, but that's enough, I think, to understand most of what took place there. Also, I'm French, so sorry for the mistakes. I try hard not to make any, but that's okay. We'll let it go. So I, 33 female, was shopping last Saturday with my fiance, 36 male, and our two daughters, 4 and 2. We were in a mall to find some makeup and little perfumes for Christmas gifts. I had reductions at Yves Rocher, so I don't know if I said that correctly. Just before getting in there, we saw a woman walking pretty fast, seemingly upset with the little girl crying and screaming behind her. The girl must have been 6 at the most, and she wasn't even looking back if she was still following or not. Like, my anxiety could never, especially in a crowded place like a mall in December. I was so shocked. But I have ears that can hear tiny little sounds, so I heard the mother say, "Non ma tutute." Well, I'm not going to try to read the French part, but the translation is, "Are you aware of the scandal you put me through in the previous shop? No, I don't want your hugs." Very roughly. Okay, now me personally, this part set me off. I don't want your hugs? Why would you say that to a little kid, regardless of what had happened prior? You know, I can't imagine telling a kid I didn't want to hug unless they were like, I don't know, covered in dog poop or something. So second shock phase for me, what? I would cross the seas to get my babies all the hugs they want, even when I'm mad at them, which can happen. There are some rough days being a parent. When they tell me they want a hug to ask for my forgiveness, well, of course, dear. Very rarely I can say no and ask for proper excuses before I get them a hug. When your child is apologetic, why scream at him or her? Anyway, I digress. So the woman storms out of our sight, and my family and I are watching each other like, what happened just now? Finally, my eldest, with a little sad voice, "Why is the mother screaming? Why doesn't she stay with her daughter?" To which my man replied, "I don't know, girl. She probably has some wickedness in her heart." Probably. But that's not kind. Yeah, but you know, people sometimes have darkness in their hearts and they need much love to put them away. She seemed to have satisfied with the answer and got into the shop with us. As we were trying to find a specific product, but the shop was so tiny and crowded we couldn't see anything. Then in burst the woman with her little girl still crying after her. It has been at least 5 minutes already, and it's only what we witnessed. She was still shouting at her girl things like, "No, you won't have anything from me, and no Christmas gifts, no nothing, and you'll be all alone, and I don't want to have anything to do with you." Everyone in the shop was in shock, as we were like 5 minutes ago. I don't know elsewhere, but in France, it's pretty rude to get in the way of a parent and his or her child, like to their family's business. You can't get involved. But at this point, I was starting to get pissed. I couldn't find the darn product I was looking for. I was preventing my two girls to touch everything so that my man could check elsewhere in the shop. And this woman was getting on my nerves because she kept on and on about how it was her daughter's fault. Like, "Look, everyone is watching us." Of course, woman, you're freaking shouting in the middle of a tiny shop. And again, with "That's all on you." Everyone is watching us because of you. And the girl sobbing, bawling her eyes out, crying, I'm sorry, Mommy. Between every sentence of her mother trying to grab her arms to get her to watch her, but her mother was rejecting her, literally, physically pushing the little girl away. And just when I thought things couldn't get worse and I would have to intervene, she began to shout, shut the F up, to her girl. It literally made my mind go blank. Like, wait, did she actually say that to her child? First major red flag. In front of everyone, second major red flag, and repeated it like it was okay. The most biggest ick and red flag ever. Like, I can get that a parent can be fed up sometimes and words can slip from your tongue and you say something you didn't mean to, something rude or very cold. But usually when a parent does so, he or she explains why it came to that point, apologize, and try to settle things more calmly with his or her child. Not this woman. She literally shouted 4 times, and she didn't kept on because of my man. I was so flabbergasted, I just couldn't react. But my man is the kind that acts more and before thinking. That's something I like in our couple. He acts fast and I think intensely. So we can both stop the other when it's needed. And so, as usual, he acted before thinking by cutting the mother, saying loudly a big "oh la la" that I heard from the opposite side of the shop. If you don't know, "ooh la la" is a French expression we can use to many things, but usually more in a sexy mood way, like blushing intensely, or to say how freaking fed up we are with something. That was obviously the case here. So, it stopped the mother from keeping on and on, but my man didn't stop there. It would have been too easy. He then said to a couple next to him, still with a loud voice, what a good way of parenting. I have 2 girls here in the shop and they behave only because we beat them to the bones. Of course, it was ironic and everyone could feel that. When people turn to me to see my beautiful little girls, yes, I'm totally their biggest fan, even though I hold them accountable for their mistakes. They saw 2 little faces in their adorable dresses, just looking shocked from what they've just witnessed. My girls love to wander and explore, but yeah, I don't have to shout for them to stay close to me. And they've never thrown a temper tantrum anywhere, so that whole situation was clearly strange for them. Then the people started, Then the people turned again to listen to their father, and an old lady came a little forward to say that a parent sometimes needs to scold a child. That can happen. My man replied, still heavily ironically, yeah, of course. We all know here that screaming at a child and humiliating them is the best way to make them behave and not at all resent us. The old lady couldn't help but agreeing with that point. So the mother was alone with the entire shop, customers and cashiers against her. So while she was trying to humiliate her daughter, she got humiliated. She kept quiet then, taking her articles, paying them, and getting off. We crossed her path later on in the mall. She was sitting on a bench on her phone, still ignoring her daughter, who looked just lost. But the mother didn't look so proud of herself then. So a little petty revenge in a way, and I hope she won't ever do that to her little girl again. Okay, now, out of you, my friends, subscribers, listeners, whatever, does this not make you furious? I mean, there's a comment. Makes me want to hurt the mom and hug the little girl and tell her I'm sorry, her mom's a B. Another comment. If I had witnessed this, I don't know that I could have resisted hugging the girl. Let's see. As you can see, I'm new at this. Give me just a second here. If she treats her that way in public, imagine when they get home. Poor kid, I hope she's okay. Let's see. Chances are things are bad at home. A reply to that. Yep, that's exactly what came to my mind. This is OP responding. Like, if you do it in public, if you have such bad behavior towards your child, what is it when no one is looking or making you feel bad? The girl didn't seem famished or beaten, but sometimes you can't see these sort of things. I just hope she's okay and has another close one to take care of her. And someone else asked, this would be my question too. Oh, whoops, where'd it go? Do you have CPS in France? Um, Here, let's see. In the States, people would have called the police to come out and do a welfare check. OP responds, we don't have welfare check here except for your very close family, like your semi-senile father or your disabled child. It's very specific here. You can't call for anyone like that. You have to know where they live, their names, why do you want a welfare check. As said in another reply, unless there is visible harm, they won't move. Police or CPS, it's the same. We prefer to heal more than preventing the harm. Uh, this just makes me so angry, and I just wanted to share it with everyone that we need to be praying for this little girl. I don't know who she is, and obviously we need to pray for her mother too, because she's, but that poor child, I'm very sad for her. Let's keep her in our thoughts and prayers, please. Thank you.